You would say, yes, thank you for caring, but you're not qualified to operate on me. And the person says, well, look, it's not about qualification. It's all about the warmth that I feel in my heart for you. Just accept the fact that I have love for you and let me do the brain surgery. He would, in no way would you allow this. In other words, what you're saying is, I appreciate the warm fuzzies that your heart is displaying for me, but you need qualification. So this is a point that we frequently make here at the Loft. That to actually love, to actually care, you need qualification. You need knowledge. You need to know what you're doing. There are some diseases, for example, in which you're not supposed to eat. Traditional cures for tuberculosis, maybe typhoid, were that you had to control your diet very much. So let's say you have one of those diseases in which you're not supposed to eat regular food, you're being fed through the IV, and there you are in the hospital bed. You haven't had a decent meal in days, you're just fed through the tubes. And I come and visit you, and I see your situation, and I become overwhelmed with love and compassion. And what do? I know exactly what you need. You need, a pizza. You need lasagna. You need vegetarian kebabs. So I come back to the hospital with several pizzas, a whole stack of vegetarian kebabs. Please accept my love for you. What do you think the doctors would do when they find out? Oh, they'd be horrified. They would tell me, don't you know this person has a disease that if they eat a regular meal, they could die? I said, doctor, don't you understand? I love that person. The doctors will look at me with anger. You don't know what you're doing. Yes, I do. I love that person. Finally, the doctors in frustration will just throw me out of the hospital because I practically killed one of their patients. The doctors are saying, look, we have knowledge. We know what is best. You don't have the medical knowledge to understand how to care. This would be very humiliating for me. I would try to explain to the doctors, look, it's just all about that warm feeling in the heart. It's all about the body temperature rising. It's all about saying soft, sweet words. It's all about being there for the person. What other buzzwords and buzz phrases can I think of? But all that doesn't matter when there's no knowledge. Knowledge means to understand. What is that person? And then when you understand what that person is, then you can understand how to actually care for that person. So this, what we're talking about, cuts to the bone of every situation we're in. Because we all want to be known as loving, caring persons. But we get frustrated sometimes in the love game. Well, don't you understand how I really feel for you? Do you really feel how I really feel? It seems sometimes like a cat chasing its own tail. And sometimes it seems that the love scene is working for a few moments or even a few years. And then you're astonished. How could you do what you did after all I've done for you? I mean, we had a good thing going. We almost had it all. And then you went, and then. We are all about love here at the Loft. We are all about cherishing all living entities, not simply human beings, but all living entities. And that's why we understand to really love and really care means our efforts have to be based on knowledge. Knowledge of the self, knowledge of the Supreme Self, and the relationship between the two. Giving that knowledge to someone is the first act of real love. Giving someone transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge means knowledge beyond that which has beginning and end, beyond time, knowledge of the spiritual reality. The very act of giving that knowledge of Krishna, that is the first installment of real love. In other words, love is not an invitation to live in a fantasy world or to share your fantasy world with someone else. I don't know who I am, you don't know who you are, but let's love. What do you think of that? So much of what we call love is based on ignorance. Look, you don't know, I don't know, but just do me a favor, help me make it through the night. We can't expect anything better than that, you know? It's a lonely world, it's a dog-lonely world. It's an empty world. You don't know, I don't know, but let's just kind of fill the time, please. Let's fill the space. Please, you fill the gap in my life, I'll fill the gap in your life. This is creative self-deception. You and I, not only you and I, but a bunch of friends, a bunch of relatives, even a whole society, let's cook something up that's going to fill the gap. Let's cook up a way of life that can be lived in fantasy. The only way we're going to give this up is by getting a superior taste. The spiritual reality has the superior taste, so that gradually the more we taste of that spiritual reality, the more we taste of Krishna consciousness, the more we're going to let go of our attachments for fantasy. And we'll lose our desire to give fantasy to someone else and to take a fantasy from someone else. So what people call, in conclusion, what people call relationships these days is so much based on trading fantasies. And because everyone's doing that, it seems to be all right. It's socially acceptable. To question this, though, doesn't lead to emptiness and zero and voidness. To question this leads to a higher platform of sharing. It leads to real love. I say that because we're afraid that if I give up the fantasy world, if I give up my creative self-deception, what is there for me? We've forgotten life on the spiritual platform. We've forgotten the love supreme. And therefore we settled for such broken little pieces of plastic. There is something there, even in our dealings of illusion. Because illusion is based on reality, just like the shadow is based on light. Without light, there's no shadow. Similarly, without reality, there's no illusion. So there's a trace of reality even in the illusion. But we need to actively seek out that reality together. And when we do that together, when we seek reality together, then we are loving. Then we are caring genuinely. So please think about these things and let us all become partners in accessing the ultimate reality. Then you'll find the ultimate love, the ultimate care, the ultimate emotional fulfillment. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
this Wednesday, which is not tomorrow, not the day after, but the day after that, the loft is closed. Just for that one day. It's the 27th of March. Then we're open again on Thursday, and then closed for Easter, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and open again on Tuesday. So just to say that again, it's good to hear it 3 times anyway. So this Wednesday we close, open again on Thursday, and then close for Easter, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then business as usual from Tuesday onwards. So now we're going to do some chanting, some kirtan. So if you've been sitting for a while, so everybody stand up, and you can pass your cushions and that.